Say what? Say what? What's wrong with all these haters? They lying, and I'm saying, I'm trying to put my partners on, we always gonna be first. A team of all-stars like there's diamonds on my t-shirt.
Look at all these haters' faces, boy, all they hurt. We winning everything earned, nothing given to us. Repeat champions wanna win, then you gotta go through us. Non-debatable, so don't talk to us. Undefeated in bouts, so we don't talk losers.
We talk the true lyrics, boy, talk to us. Woo. First take, every word great. Direct and produce verbs, check out their wordplay.
Hi everyone, welcome to this special edition of the UKEndZone football programme. It's a Grassroots special. We're just a week away from the NFL draft as I record this, 7 days till Radio City Music Hall. We've got a special coming out. We're going to edit it over this week and a big mock draft special as well, talking to some guys about the draft. That's going to come out probably Monday just to get you all ready for the draft next week. Today I'm talking to Chris Chillingworth from the Hasting Conquerors. They're a new startup team just formed in the last couple of months. I'm going to speak to them about their plans. They're really exciting. So I'm just going to get straight down to that interview and let that play. So I hope you all enjoy. Let us know on @UKEndZone what you think of the interview and contact Chris himself at Hastings AFC. Okay, so I'm here with Chris Chillingworth. He's the interim chairman at Hasting Conquerors. How you doing, Chris?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We're just going to chat to Chris today. I've been trying to get hold of Chris for a while now about this new team he set up down south in Hastings, as far south as you can go. And just going to talk about how's Hastings, how's it going along, mate?
Yeah, really well, actually. I mean, pretty much we started it off because I was looking for a team down here in Hastings. I was born here and kind of grew up here, but moved away when I was about 17, lived up in Reading for sort of most of my adult life, and then came back here to sort of raise a family and everything. And there was no teams down here, so I thought about looking into whether or not there's going to be any interest in the town, in the sport itself. So I set up a Facebook group. And we set that up on the 5th of March, so not sort of, probably about 6 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Just to see if there's any interest in the town, really, in American football, because I had no idea. So half expecting sort of 10, 20, 30 people tops to get in touch. In 4 weeks, we had 200 people either contact the club or get onto the page and talk to us through there or send us an email. And it was just far more than I expected to happen. So, and then effectively what we did was arrange a sort of like a get-together or recruitment day, which was on a Sunday morning. Had a few people pull out Sunday morning because I think they had hangovers from Saturday night. But
you'll discover that along the way, trust me. Many players play. Sometimes your D-Linemen are better with that hangover, you will soon find.
Yeah, I mean, I woke up Sunday morning all excited about the first get-together, and my phone was buzzing with people saying, "Oh, I can't make it." But even still, we had 28 players turn up on the first ever recruitment day, and they were a really good bunch of lads. Everyone was really enthusiastic. We had a big Q&A session, and lots of questions being asked about the club, and everybody put their name down and signed up to be part of it all. So it was quite good, and we've got another recruitment day set up for this Sunday coming up, and I'm expecting from the conversations I've had with people and the emails I've had, I expect probably the 28 will turn up again and probably another 20 on top of them, so we could have nearly 50 people on Sunday, which would be great.
Well, hopefully we can fire this conversation out by tomorrow evening. There might be a couple of lads who pick up on it. Not seen
Absolutely,
it. We've also
yeah.
got an ad on. I'm not sure if people have seen it on our website, just on the right hand sidebar, because I'm really impressed with what Chris has done with just setting this up, as he says, 6 weeks ago, and the interest he's had has been overwhelming, really, to himself and to the whole club. So we've got that advert down there for you, Chris, just so people are passing and read the articles and what have you, they can see Hastings on there. What's the interest been like? Has there been any people coming from further away? I mean, I know London's a long way away. Is it just that whole southern region? I can't think of a team that far down south.
Our nearest teams are probably Maidstone Pumas, which is about an hour's drive away, or be Sussex Thunder over in Brighton. And you've also got East Kent Mavs, which are over in Canterbury, I think. But yeah, you've got to travel a good hour before you get to any of those clubs. We've actually had quite a few guys come over. Out of that 28, I'd say probably a quarter of those guys were from Eastbourne. And they haven't got a team either. They're obviously closer to Brighton, but I guess they're too far away from Brighton to be bothered to go over that way. But they came to us, and one of the Eastbourne guys plays over at Canterbury, so he's trekking quite a way at the moment. So Hastings is on his way there, so he's quite interested in training with us a bit and stuff like that, and seeing what happens. So, but yeah, we've got a fairly wide range from sort of the local towns and stuff. But to be quite honest, we haven't really even started advertising or trying to recruit in those areas yet. So the scope in this sort of catchment area is very high. We've got, I think the census records said we've got 90,000 people in Hastings, and 43,000 in neighbouring Bexhill-on-Sea. So you've got 133,000 residents in the local facility. And you just kind of wonder what percentage of those people are interested in American football and want to get involved in a local team. And I think there's quite a big scope for some participation from a lot of people here.
Well, it sounds like you've got a fantastic recruiting process that you can go for there. You've not even booked too much out there, and you're already looking at having 50 people down this Sunday. It sounds like you're going to have an unbelievable squad, a huge number of people, just the whole southern region coming up to play us small teams up in the north, where we're taking people off each other.
Yeah, I mean, imagine we'll lose a few people along the way. It always happens. I mean, I've been a football coach for years, and I've got involved in other sports before, and I know what it's like. There's a lot of enthusiasm at the start, and that'll tend to dwindle. But the only recruitment we've done is on Facebook and a little bit on Twitter. So when we're talking about, really hammering the local papers, the local press, getting on the radio, doing all that kind of stuff, that's to me is proper recruitment and proper marketing, and we haven't even got anywhere near that yet. So I'd like to think that we can hopefully put a decent sized squad together.
Well, I'm really impressed by this idea of, I was really fascinated even about this idea of you just sitting down one day and deciding, was it you and someone else and you talked and you said, why don't we think about looking for a team or starting a team, or was it all solely you started and you started branching out and finding other people?
Yeah, it was just myself. I guess I was at a point in my own sort of life where I didn't really have any hobbies going on, and I always like to have something going on. I'm quite a projects kind of guy. I've built businesses before and stuff like that. I've never done anything like this before, though. Nothing to do with sport or a football, American football team. And it was just me and myself. I realised that there was no clubs around here, and I just thought, let's scope out and see if there is. And it kind of took over me, because I was only really looking to see if there was interest. And then when I started getting messages saying, when are we going to start getting together and when's the first meeting, I kind of felt like I had to. Then, I was kind of pushed into a corner. So, well, I'm quite happy to do it. But it was certainly sort of a beast that kind of took over. And it wasn't long before I was starting to scream for a bit of help. And I mean, we've set this little sort of committee up now, which there's 8 of us currently sitting sort of on this committee, sharing the load now, and they're a great bunch of lads. They all came in, turned up for the meeting, which was yesterday actually, and we all just sort of tackled all the big things that we need to do to build this club up. So looking at the constitution, the business plan, funding, grants, all that kind of stuff, and everyone's taking certain responsibilities on, is going to go away, take those actions away and come back hopefully with some results. And it just takes the pressure off me a little bit, and spreads the load a little.
So the plan for this Conquerors group, I was reading on your website the other day, this plan that you don't just want to be around for a few years, like we've seen some teams come in and they drop out and they come back. You want to put a plan in for 10, 20 years. Do you know, have you had any sort of idea how you're going to try and do that, or is it just an ideal and you're trying to find a way to work towards it?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen, like you say, I've seen clubs come and go, and something that I'm really keen on doing with this club is the cooperative aspect of it, which you can probably read a little bit about it on our website. I put some information up. But effectively what it would be is we would be looking to set ourselves up as a cooperative group, and we will have, once we're a legal entity, which is not a very hard process, it's just a case of having a business plan and registering really, we'll be able to sell shares in the club. The idea being that anyone who wants to be a member will pay a sort of a yearly fee, and with that first yearly fee they'll get a share, and the constitution will state that people can only have one share each, which creates a nice level shareholding playing field. No majority shareholders involved, no one can take over the club. It's owned by the players, the residents. Anyone who wants to support the club can own a share, and for that share what they'll do is they'll get a vote on sort of the key decisions, and help direct the club the way they want it to go, really. And what I like about that is the fact that it's a club that's run by the people that use it, and it's owned by the people that use it. There's not one guy sitting in a chair deciding what's going to happen, and everyone else has got to like it or lump it, sort of thing. As a collective, we'll be deciding where's money spent, how much is the merchandise going to cost, that sort of thing, and that's all going to be a collective group that decides on that, run in a democratic fashion. And I really like that, and I think another really key important part of that is the security that it gives the club over the forthcoming years, because effectively that group of people that all own a share in that club become its safety net. If I walk away one day, or if something happens to me, as a chairman of the club, you've got however many members underneath me, or as part of the club, that can carry on running that club and taking it over, and it just prevents it prevents any chance of that club falling apart, and there be nothing left of it once someone's left and taken the money with them. All the money that we raise is going to come from the shareholders buying the memberships every year, so we're going to look at sustainable incomes coming in every year. I think season 1 we're probably looking at trying to raise £5,000 just from memberships alone, and then obviously the target will be to try and increase our membership every year, so trying to get more local people, more residents involved, and we're opening this up globally, so we could find the odd American wants to buy a share in a small British start-up American football team. We could have people from Japan buying a £30 share in our club, and it just all raises money towards buying kits, buying equipment, starting up new teams, investing in youth, investing in women's football, and just slowly developing and growing our club. The more people that get involved, the better.
Well, yeah, there's two things there I'd just like to comment on. Well, three things. First of all, I just want to say I think it's amazing what you're putting forward there, everything you're talking about. I've met people millions of times who've come in with an idea of starting a club with the mates in the pub, and then they email back and they start it up and they get the kits. But the ideas you're putting forward of this constitution, they're really fantastic. I don't think I've heard of it before, the way you're planning on running it. But I think for a sustainable future, it's unbelievable. Second point is with regards to the foreign ownership as well. I think that's a really interesting thing that you put across there. You can do so many things off the back of that. If you're in partnership with ourselves, we're getting hundreds of viewers from Turkey, Albania, all these places, Canada, America, and as you continue that advertisement, I'm sure they'll be interested in picking up a little piece of their own football club. And then the last point is you said about that infrastructure there. I've been wondering this question since I've been looking through the Hastings stuff. I mean, is the sole intention this year? I don't think you're starting to play this year. Looking at next year, I believe, is that correct?
That's right, yeah.
Is it going to be one senior kitted team to start with before you move on, or are you going to be inviting in a youth team and junior team as well?
It kind of depends on what sort of people turn up. Probably this Sunday, there's going to be a lot of talking about the competitive side of the club. We've been invited by a Baffa flag team to play a friendly this season, which we've kind of arranged with them, just to give our guys some sort of competitive football to aim for, something to train towards, that sort of thing. And we're really keen on sort of part of the constitution of this club is effectively going to be trying to open up American football to people in Hastings. So we're talking youth players, adult male, adult women, youth women. We may even, look at when we've got the infrastructure in place to look at, looking at wheelchair flag football and stuff like that, which is all achievable, I think. But it's the case really in terms of the competitive side of things. We've been in touch with BAFA. We're looking at seeing how we get involved with the league. We're waiting to hear back at the moment from them in terms of, we've just asked them for some advice at this stage. And we'd like to probably start playing some competitive football in leagues and stuff like that next season. Like you say, we formed a little bit late for this season. We weren't able to get our act together in time for the start of this season. But what that does really is that it gives us a nice big window to really sort of find out who's serious about this club, who really does want to play. Are they going to stick around for this season with no competitive games? Can we keep the interest going? Can we keep it all alive? Can we get enough friendlies in place to kind of keep that interest running in the meantime? But it will give us a chance to really make sure that we can invest some time and some coaching towards our playing team, and try and get them up to a level where we're not going to get destroyed in the first game next season. But it's a bit of a sort of a trial and error, a bit of an experiment. We've not really been here before, so we don't really know what we're going to get. And we're probably going to make a lot of mistakes along the way. But I think mistakes are fine as long as you learn from them.
Were you talking about like infrastructure there? I've also been interested in this. I mean, with regards to coaches, you've mentioned you've had a number of players, and the coaches, as the guys there already ready, able to coach, so have they been contacted, or are you also looking for? I mean, you're probably always looking for coaches, but I mean, is the head coach set up, ready to go, and things like that, or are you still advertising and looking for those sort of key coaching positions?
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, before we started, I kind of had this idea that we'd have more coaches ready and willing to get involved, and we'd struggle finding the players. In reality, it's been the other way around. We've got probably more players than we can cope with, and we've got very little in the way of coaching and any coaching experience. I'm a BAFA level 1 coach myself, but bear in mind the amount of administrational work behind the scenes that is going on with trying to build this cooperative group up. I've pretty much decided I'm not going to have the time to do any of the coaching myself. So we are certainly looking for coaches. We've had a couple of guys come forward who used to play back in the 80s and early 90s and kind of have been out of the sport for a little while. They're now in their sort of 50s, and they've obviously realised that they're not in a position to play anymore, but they want to get involved in the team. So we've had a little discussion with them about coaching, and obviously, like many other clubs do, we'd like to raise the money to be able to pay for them to go and do their coaching courses, which aren't very expensive in this sport. I mean, as a FA level 2 soccer coach, I've been involved in doing coaching badges that have cost sort of between 100 and 500 quid. So American football coaching courses are a fraction of that, and very affordable. So the more coaches we can get going to do those, the better, I think. But it seems to be a little bit more of a struggle than I had anticipated, finding people that are interested really and have the confidence to come and coach. I mean, being a good player doesn't necessarily measure that you're a good coach in the sport. It's how you deliver sessions and how organised you are and things like that, and how you approach people. But I think there's a confidence issue with people that haven't necessarily played the game before coming forward and saying, I'm happy to coach your players when I've never actually played the sport. And it's finding those experienced people that have played the sport before that are the right sort of frame of mind to be good coaches as well. And that's going to be probably one of our most difficult challenges ahead, I think.
Yeah, so is the head coach, is he set in place, or do you want to use this platform to advertise and look for that guy?
We are certainly looking for a head coach. That is official. Like I say, we've got some guys that have come forward in terms of coaching and expressed an interest in coaching. They haven't come forward and said we want to be head coaches though, and I'm looking for that sort of person that can really help us develop this team up and take the lead really on the field. I would have, if the guys that had come forward already about the coaching had said they want to be head coach, then we probably would have sat down with them and talked to them about it, but they haven't at this stage. We've had a couple of guys say in terms of looking at offensive lines and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean the door is wide open for a head coach. If we can find the right guy, then we'll bring him in. I'm slightly worried that I'm going to be lumbered with that role, and I know I'm not the right guy for it. But if we can find the right guy, then brilliant. It's if anyone is out there who lives in the local vicinity of Hastings or East Sussex and would be interested in that particular role, then please do get in touch, because we certainly do need somebody.
So yeah, just a quick shout out to those guys at the Maidstone Pumas, those local teams. If you're a position coach, you're a coordinator and you want to get your hands on a programme, not just a normal programme, it's a start-up programme, you'll be able to mould and shape everything. I'm sure Chris will let you have complete control of the playbook, and you won't be democratic about the playbook, I'm sure, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get yourselves in touch with Chris Chillingworth and the Hasting Conquerors. Just Google them or follow them, check them out on Twitter, get in touch with Chris. He's a really accessible, nice guy. So just a quick shout out to those guys.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I mean, hopefully they can teach us a thing or two as well. We're a very green club. A lot of the guys there are really going to need to start from scratch in terms of we're even going to need to teach some of these guys the rules of the game, because some guys have sort of seen a few games on telly, really like the look of it, and have come down to get involved. So we really are starting from scratch, and if anyone comes in with any experience, it's a great opportunity for them to really probably move on to the next level for them, because somebody coming into our club of experience is quite likely going to take lead roles within Hastings Conquerors at the moment, because they have a skill and experience and knowledge that no one else has at the club. So great opportunity for anybody, like you say, at Maidstone or Brighton who are interested in taking that opportunity on.
Well, just the last couple of things I want to talk about, Chris. I've been a bit damning on Baffer this week. I'm not sure if you've checked out the goings on at Baffer, which have been a bit laughable at the moment, or with Baffer in general. I mean, if you have much contact with them as a startup club, really, if I was them, I'd be straight on to you saying, fantastic, here's an action plan or whatever. Have you had much off Baffer?
Yeah, I want to be careful what I say, but we've found it really difficult in terms of getting any advice from anybody over at Baffer at the moment. And I'll be fair to them, they've obviously been having some issues over there recently, from what I can tell from the sort of the stuff that I've read in the press. We were trying to get in touch with a couple of people over there, and we've certainly not had any response from anyone at this stage. And we've been trying for probably just over 4 weeks now to get in touch with somebody there. For really, I mean, at this stage, we know we're not going to be able to get into the leagues this year, so what we're looking for is some sort of registration or affiliation with our national sporting body. One, so we can apply for grants, but two, just so that we can tick that box really and say we are part of the, we have registered with the national sporting body for American football in the UK. We've not had any response at this stage, and there are some other start-up leagues in the UK, and we have been speaking to them as well, but it's really sort of open up in the air at the moment. We are hoping that we'll hear from Baffer at some point, but at this stage we've not heard a thing.
Yeah, well, I'm with you on that one. I have been quite damning on them. I would love to just vent my frustrations right now, but I wouldn't want to impede Chester with any of my words, so I'll hang fire on that. I just wanted to see how, if it was me, I'm not criticising Baffer. If I was in their shoes, I'd be straight on the phone and saying, fantastic, increased participation. Look, we haven't got a single club down there. What a top plan this is, here we got action plan and everything, but clearly it's either not their style or they have got issues over there at the moment. But I was just interested to find out how active they have been.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame, because we think that what we're building is very exciting, obviously, and we're really excited to get other people involved in it. We'd love to work with Baffer, and we'd love to be involved in what they've what they've already built, you know, in terms of the league structure, and we can put some sort of a plan together to show, you know, when we're going to be ready to get involved, and we can look at financials and everything like that. But yeah, until we have that first contact, that's all just, you know, that's all pointless really. We just need to kind of find somebody over there that's willing to give us a little time to just talk about what we're doing. But to be fair, we haven't contacted everyone over there. I mean, I've been aiming my sort of contact attempts at 2 or 3 people and not getting anywhere. So I think something that we're probably going to do now is speak to some other people, maybe even start speaking to some other clubs that are already part of BAFA to find out if there's any way they can get us in touch with somebody over at BAFA, just to get the ball rolling there. But yeah, we're very keen to get in touch with them, and hopefully somebody will pick up the phone or drop us an email in the short term.
Okay, that's great. The final thing really is just the next step forward. What you're going to look to do. I mean, are you going to think about contacting maybe some local university programs, maybe sort of bringing their players and coaches in whilst they're in their off season? It's that sort of thing you've looked at. And what's just the next step forward for Hastings now?
Yeah, well, we're going to start off with flag, obviously, because that's what a lot of clubs do. It makes sense because financially it's much more accessible for us. We do have some plans to obviously get the full kits in and go full contact at some point, but that's depends on the finances. We again are lacking in any sort of coaching experience really, so I've already been on the blower to a couple of other clubs not too far away from us. So some of the closer clubs to us, to find out if there's anything that can be done in terms of maybe some of our guys going up to some training sessions, just to get some experience from players that are already playing and coaches that know what they're doing, because that sort of thing will be quite valuable to us. And I have to say, every single club we've spoken to so far has been fantastic. It's not like I mean, I don't want to say anything too horrible about football and soccer, but the rivalries are much stronger in football, I've realised, than in American football. There seems to be a proper community feel to sort of certainly the new clubs that are starting up, trying to help each other out, and it's been quite nice, quite a pleasant surprise for me. But they've always, you know, welcomed us to come along to training sessions, and they've all offered their services in terms of helping us out, which has been great. So that's something that's been quite a nice surprise for a team like us.
Well, Chris, I've got to say, I've been really impressed with you speaking to you. Honestly, if you're pitching that to me, I mean, UKEndZone will probably buy themselves a share in Hastings when that comes up on the market over the next couple of years.
Brilliant.
So, just got to say, thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Hopefully, we can get you on again in a couple of weeks or so, just to find out how it's going and maybe continue this relationship to try and help you grow and you help ourselves grow.
Marvellous. Okay, Ollie, I appreciate that.
Okay, see you later, Chris.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So that's all for this week on the UKEndZone football programme. A fantastic talk there, Chris Chillingworth, the interim chairman at Hasting Conqueror's American Football Club. Again, you can catch them on Twitter at HastingsAFC if you want to talk to them about coming down for training this Sunday or any time at all. And again, for those coaches out there, those young aspiring coaches, those coordinators at other clubs in the local area, those position coaches, if you want to be a head coach at a club, a new club where you can put your stamp on it completely, as he said, help lead that club, then it's a great opportunity for you, so get in touch with them. So that's all for this week. I've been Ollie. Make sure you keep checking out at UKEndZone on the Twitter and UKEndZone.com. Stay tuned next week for our mock draft podcast special ahead of the draft next week. I hope you all enjoy the draft and can check out our live stream. We'll be putting up the information for that. We will be streaming live reaction of the draft on our website. So thanks for listening. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.
Say what? Say what? What's wrong with all these haters? They lying. And I'm saying, I'm trying to put my partners on, we always gonna be first. A team of all-stars like there's diamonds on my t-shirt.
Look at all these haters' faces, boy, all they hurt. We winning everything earned, nothing given to us. Repeat champions wanna win, then you gotta go through us. Non-debatable, so don't talk to us. Undefeated in bouts, so we don't talk losers.
We talk the true lyric, boy, talk to us. Woo. First take, every word great. Direct and produce verbs, check out that wordplay.